We want to learn. We want to hear, and the president wants to listen. You know, if you look at the situation in Florida, you had a scenario in which you have a troubled individual who's been widely identified by local law enforcement. Other students in the school had identified him and flagged him. His own aunt had called the FBI about his conduct and the dangers that he posed, yet nothing was done. And so we want to understand what was the breakdown in our systems, whether it's a law enforcement issue, whether it's a state, local, and federal issue at many levels. And the other thing the president has talked about, he talked with Senator John Cornyn on Friday about improving the background check system, ways in which we can strengthen it. You know, Senator Cornyn's legislation was introduced last year when the Air Force did not enter information into our national background check system. So ways in which we can prevent or we can identify troubled individuals, and ways in which we can prevent, you know, we can ensure that the information is going across governments and going across to the right authorities, so that way when folks go to buy a firearm, and they shouldn't be, we know in time.
So we want to know really what the president's priorities are at this point. I know that immigration is up there. Infrastructure is up there, and now I understand that he's going to be making changes to Dodd-Frank in terms of regulation. Look at the next 6 months. What are the president's priorities?
Well, I think all the issues that you mentioned, as well as school safety, are priorities for this president. I think on some of them there's going to be some bipartisan support. I think we can potentially get Democrats to sign on to school safety measures, also get them to sign on to measures to improve our nation's infrastructure. We have a $1.5 trillion plan that we want to work with state and local governments on.
Right.
And then on the issue of immigration, it's going to require Democratic support. You know, we obviously saw the Senate fail to act on the president's framework, as well as other bills that have been put together. We want to deal with the issue of DACA. We also need to secure our southern border with a wall, with additional border agents, with new legal authorities for the Department of Homeland Security,
right,
as well as ending the visa lottery system and other legal reforms. So there are a lot of issues that we want to confront. We still have, we're optimistic about the next, you know, about 6 to 8 months before election season kicks into full gear. That we can get some of these things done.
So on immigration, the Supreme Court could announce as early as today whether it will take up a lower court opinion that temporarily blocked the president's effort to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, DACA. Is this White House hopeful that the Supreme Court will take up this case? What should we expect on DACA?
Well, look, the president ended the DACA program that President Obama created just a few years ago because it was unconstitutional. It was an illegal program. Only Congress and the president have the right through actual legislation to make immigration law. You just can't take a whole class of individuals and say you're not going to enforce the law with them. So the president has showed leadership. He's introduced a plan that has 1.8 million people getting a path to legal status and eventual citizenship, and with that, an actual fix to both the legal and illegal immigration systems in our country that need reform, an actual permanent solution. We want to see the Supreme Court you know, follow the Constitution, follow the law in our view, and in the Attorney General's view, and you know, enforce our March 5th deadline.
Yeah, but they are not agreeing to doing away with the visa lottery and the chain migration, though, right? I mean, isn't that?
Yeah, it is unfortunate, although we haven't hit the March 5th deadline.
Yeah.
It's funny how Congress tends to actually take action when we move up to deadlines and never beforehand. We set this deadline 6 months ago. It seems like they sat on their hands for the first 4 or 5 months, and now are beginning to debate the issue and begin to take votes and action. We're still optimistic that something can get done before March 5th.
But the president pushed back in this last deal. They did have a deal on the table, right? And the president said he was where he was and didn't want to negotiate anymore.
Well,
so
let's be specific.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, not changing your position is always a sound and true negotiating tactic when you're dealing with folks that want to pass a bad deal.
Okay.
The specific measure that you're talking about, it had a terrible provision in there in which it basically said that immigration law, federal immigration law, couldn't be enforced prior to June 30th of this year. So that means for the next few months, if people cross the border illegally and come into the United States, we cannot enforce federal law on them. We could not deport them if we caught them.
Right.
And so what does that do? It invites millions of people. It invites drug smugglers. It invites MS-13. It invites a lot of other folks that we don't want coming across the southern border with the notion that they're not going to be deported if they make it across prior to June 30th.
But
that is a non-starter.
But we can't send anybody back now, right? I mean, we had the the Secretary of Homeland Security on the show just a few weeks ago, and she told us very clearly, when somebody comes to the border, we can't send them back anywhere.
Yeah, we have a broken system right now. Basically, a policy called catch and release, in which if individuals are caught crossing the border, they, basically get a court date and are set free. And if they don't show up, so be it. That's not a problem. That's not a solution to the problem. It's a nonsense system, the president's not going to sign a bill that doesn't fix, that, along with a whole host of other things. We've got to actually fix the problem. Just signing something for the sake of signing something and then walking up to the problem or having the same problem a few years from now is not a solution.
Real quick, let me get this tweet out. The president just tweeted this while we were talking. He says, "I've been much tougher on Russia than Obama. Just look at the facts. Total fake news." Where does the president stand on implementing the sanctions on Russia right now, Raj?
Well, let's be clear. The president's tweet is dead on. It's entirely correct. He has been much tougher on Russia than President Obama was. Everything from arming Ukraine with offensive weapons, supporting a bombing campaign in Syria. Yeah. Just last week, he called out Russia for the largest cybersecurity. Okay.
Thank you, Raj. Raj Shah joining us there.